Hey guys, what is up? This is Swift here, and today I'll be talking more about the different Korean 4K monitors that you can buy. Now, I have recently purchased the Crossover 44K. That's a 40-inch 4K PC monitor, and I've talked a little bit more about it. I unboxed it. I recorded a video talking about some of my thoughts about using a 40-inch display as my daily driver, a 40-inch 4K display as my daily driver. And now I thought I would like to do a video about the different options you have at the moment, the different Korean monitors that are available for you to purchase, and the different things that the monitors have going for them. I did do a similar thing in the past, about 3 years ago, regarding the 27-inch 1440p monitor. I wrote a compilation of the different brands that are available at the moment, brands and models of 27-inch 1440p Korean monitors, and it was really well received. So I thought I'll do this again. This time around, as you can see here, this is the article that is in the draft. But of course, this time around, I thought I'll do a video as well. And the video is basically based on the article. So if I missed out anything, or I say something and you couldn't catch what I say, you can just head on to the written article and then just get your information from there. The link to that to the article will be in the description bar below, so you are covered there as well. So this time around I'm going to talk about 40-inch 4K monitors. Of course, there are monitors that I'm going to cover that aren't exactly 40-inch. There are 39-inch to 42-inch inches. So some of the things here that I'm about to say might be incorrect. You can see here, the main thing is that I done some research online, in the internet and other online forums, and gathering user information as well, because there are some other people that have already purchased some of the monitors, and some monitors have little to no people that, or at least in the English community, no one actually tried it yet. So we are unsure, like some of the advertised specifications, whether they are true or not. For example, the Crossover 44K was advertised to be that it can run at 144 Hz or something like that in 1080p, but that's of course incorrect, and they recently changed it in the 404K advertisement that is just 60 Hz and so on and so forth. So there might be some inaccuracy in the information, especially in the advertisements that you're able to see given by the manufacturers themselves. So I will try my best to update you whatever that I find out I'll find in the internet, and give you the best understanding, at least from the research that I've done and from all the other user comments and whatnot. Alright. If you have any other things to add on after you watch this video, or you already purchased one of the different monitors, you want to give your thoughts and comments, do share them with the rest of us. I would love to read them, and I would love to reply to you as well. So some information before we begin talking about the monitors. The only way you can run 4K at 60 Hz is either through HDMI 2.0 or DisplayPort 1.2. So that's the bare minimum, right? If you have DisplayPort 1.3 and whatever, it will work as well. So one thing that you might not have is HDMI 2.0. The latest series of graphics cards, the GTX 900 series, as well as the new Radeon 300 series onwards, should have HDMI 2.0, but otherwise most graphics card at the moment is HDMI 1.4a, and HDMI 1.4a only can run 4K at 30 Hz, which means you will have to use your DisplayPort out. And talking about DisplayPort, as you can see here, the quality of the DisplayPort cable does matter. So there are a lot of users that reported that the DisplayPort cable that was provided with their monitors didn't actually work. They cannot drive 4K at 30 Hz. That is possible with a low quality DisplayPort cable, or a cable that isn't certified. You will not be able to meet these specifications, and you will not be able to drive 4K at 60 Hz anyways. So if that happens to you, do not panic, and you can actually just buy one of Amazon that's certified. Do read the customer reviews and whatnot to see whether or not the DisplayPort cable is actually working for them. So all of the monitors are VESA mount compliant, so that you're covered there if you want to buy your own wall mount or whatnot. The AC adapter provided, as far as I can tell, that all the different monitors, the manufacturers say that they'll provide a adapter that is rated for 100 volts to 200 volts input AC. So you do not need any additional transformers. And the thing is that most sellers do provide adapters as well. For different countries, you have to give them a note, or actually if they see which place they are shipping to, they will provide the necessary adapter, the head, right, for you to plug into your wall socket. So some monitors come with remote controllers, while others require you to purchase them separately. Now the monitors themselves have the buttons as well. But some of them are positioned in really awkward positions, so the remote controller will be very helpful in that sense. But so you have to read the description of the eBay or whatever listing, the product listing, and see whether a remote controller is provided or not. They usually have a post that a section that describes what you would receive in the package. It will put like a DP cable, there's DisplayPort cable, the monitor itself, instructions, and maybe like the remote controller, right? So this point I would like to really highlight to you. Some monitors have variants, Quad SE or something like that, standard edition. I'm not sure what's the, or simple edition. I'm not sure what's the what the acronym stands for. But these monitors or variants are actually cheaper, because there are some things that are taken out from them. For example, you will see in a while there's one 42-inch Wasabi Mango 4K monitor. They have a SE version, which sells about 200. Sorry, that's Singapore dollars. So it's about $100 cheaper, $150 cheaper than the original version. But it does not come with HDMI 2.0. Instead, it comes from 1.4A only. So that's something you have to take note of. Do read the product listing carefully before you make your purchase, because there are some variants and the title of the product listing will sometimes be the same, right? The model will be the same, etc. But then the listing, the description is slightly different. So do pay attention to that. Now, the prices that you're about to see I'm going to talk about are relative to the Philips monitor. I'll explain why now I'm using that, because the main reason why people are very afraid to buy such monitors, especially then in the 27-inch 1440p monitors, is the lack of a local warranty as well as local support. So people are worried that, what if my monitor dies in like a month's time? Who can I look for? As such, in terms of comparing 40-inch 4K monitors, the only monitor at the moment that is marketed for like a PC monitor in that sense is the Philips BDM 4065UC. Philips should be considered an international company. It should be available in most countries. At least they should have a local, their own country support and whatnot. So I will compare these monitors to the Philips monitor in terms of pricing, so it makes more sense because prices fluctuate over time, and it will change. So this video and article will be at least more relevant as we move on through in the coming months and years ahead of us. Alright, so one thing to take note as well, none of the monitors can overclock above 60 Hz, which means that none of them can overclock at all. Regardless of whatever resolution or port you're using, do not be fooled by the advertisement by the manufacturers, especially for the 44K. I believe it's still advertised on their official website to be able to run 144 Hz at 1080p, but it can run at 144 Hz, but there are a lot of frame skipping or something like that. There's a lot of issues with that, and that when there's frame skipping, it is not called an overclock by any means, right? So yeah, that's some marketing bullshit there. Okay, so for this part here, I'm just going to go through it very quickly. So there are many platforms that you can purchase these monitors. The links that I'm going to provide in the description here, as well as on the article, is to the Amazon product pages, right? Because I believe Amazon do have a very, very thorough support and security wise for the buyer, so you will not really have to worry about if, let's say, you receive a dead monitor or a monitor that is destroyed. Amazon will have you covered there. Do note, however, that Amazon, the sellers on Amazon do charge a slight premium. So for the safety of mind, you might want to buy on Amazon. But if you want it to be the cheapest, do search for the monitor name on the eBay. eBay should be the cheapest for all of you anyways, right? So another thing to note about, there isn't any warranty, despite what they say, because if you want to claim your warranty, you will have to pay for shipping back to Korea. That itself will probably cost you another monitor already, so don't bother about warranty. But do not worry, if you have a date on DOA, date on arrival monitor, or the monitor is destroyed during shipping, the sellers will bear the cost of return, as well as shipping you another new monitor. So that is perfectly fine. There's also another thing about Perfect Pixel. What this actually means is that they will open up your monitor and check for any dead pixels, and if there are any, they will change it for you. So they'll ship you technically a perfect pixel, a perfect monitor in that sense. You will have to pay a premium for this service, but they do give you better guarantees in the sense that if like you have one or two dead pixels, you can actually ask for a refund and whatnot. So that's something that you want to take note of. I usually don't find this worth it at all, because I don't know what they actually do. That's what they say, right? They check, but how thorough and whatnot is another thing, another whole story that we won't know. All right, so now let's introduce you to the different monitors. So, all right, we have the international monitor. So this is the Philips BDM 4065UC. This is the monitor that most of you should recognize if you are looking for one in the market anyway. One very nice thing about this monitor is that it has a USB hub and it has warranty. So yeah, that's the the biggest advantage, I'll say, if you want to get this particular monitor, because the panel that this Philips monitor use is actually being used in the Korean monitors as well. So the only reason why you pay for this, the extra money for this, is for the warranty and a peace of mind, I guess. So yeah, do take note that this monitor has uses PWM. So for those of you who are more affected by PWM flicker or whatnot, do take note about that. The flickering goes away if you set brightness to 100%. But from what I understand, for the past few years I've been using monitors, if you set your monitor to 100%, the majority of you will probably not be able to use your monitor because it'll be too bright. It'll hurt your eyes, right? So that will be the case for the Philips monitor as well. So that's something for you to take note of. So next up is the Crossover 404K. Now this is the newer version of the 44K. The main difference, or the only difference between the 44K and the 404K, is that the 404K has HDMI 2.0 ports going for it. Otherwise, it's basically the same thing. And the 404K has the same panel, the same VA panel as the Philips BDM 4065UC. So this costs roughly 25% less than the Philips monitor. So you pay slightly about 100 to 200 US dollars cheaper than the Philips monitor. So that's something that's really, really good, right? So I'm currently using the 44K. If you'd like to know more about my thoughts, you can go and read that or watch that particular video where I ramble about some of my thoughts about the monitor and using 40-inch 4K monitor in general, right? So this is 404K. Let's take a look at their advertisement, right? Let's see, is this 404? All right. See, they have very fancy advertisements, which is really cool. You can see here. So yeah, apparently the remote. Some people have asked me where's the remote or something like that. Some sellers, I think they do not provide a remote. I'm not too sure about that. Do read the what you call that, the listing or the product description before you make your purchase, right? So here are some of the specifications that they laid out. It's some of them in Korean, but the rest are self-explanatory. So you can see here 10-bit color, picture in picture, picture by picture, 60 hertz, blah blah blah. All right. So here is a VA panel. Yeah, you should have expected that. And yeah, this is the important thing here. It supports 4x4x4 chroma sampling. So it will be better color reproduction, and I'll talk a bit more about that in a while, right? But do take note that you will want this 4x4x4 chroma subsampling in your display. If not, your color reproduction and whatnot is going to be really bad, right? So for those of you who need it, picture in picture and picture by picture, you can see some information here, so on and so forth, and they provide a remote. The remote is very useful. Especially when you're going to set up your stuff at the start. Much better than stretching and pressing the on-screen buttons at the back. And yeah, so here are the ports. There's HDMI 2.0, DisplayPort VGA, which you don't want to use, and DVI, which you also don't want to use because it cannot run 4K at 60 Hz anyways. Alright. Let's see, we have any interesting things to take note of. Alright, you have speakers as well, 10 watt, two 10 watt speakers, but I don't suggest you using them. And yeah, that's about it. Right, some information here. Okay. Anyways, if I'm scrolling too fast or anything like that, just go and click the link below to the article, and then I have the image there, and then simply expand it, and you can see it. Click this, and then you can just see the whatever I'm showing you right now, right? You'll see that as well. So moving on, we have the AMH-A399U. This is the cheapest 4K monitor that I'm introducing, and at the moment at least is the cheapest. Right, it also supports the newer HDMI 2.0 port, which is very surprising. It, however, comes with a tempered glass, which can be a pro or con, depending on how you like it. If you like your glossy displays, this is going to be a huge bonus for you because it's the cheapest as well. But for those of you who hate that reflective look on your display, or you have an environment that does not support a glossy finish, do take note about that. The main difference between this monitor is that it is the cheapest and it has a tempered glass, right? That's about it. Another thing is that it does use PWM as well. So, and it is the same panel as the Philips monitor. So they're all the same panel, and this time around this has PWM. It uses PWM, whereas the crossover 404K does not use PWM. This costs about 30% cheaper than the Philips monitor, so that's something for you to take note of. We can take a look at their, let's see. Nope, that's Philips. Alright, we can take a look at their advertisement. So the stand here is slightly different as well. You can see here it's like a flat base, whereas the 404K is empty. It's like 4 different pillars or support. So pretty much the same thing here. You can take a look at how the monitor looks here. It's slightly different. Okay. One thing though, this monitor does not support picture in picture. Right. Does not support the picture in picture or picture by picture. So if that's something that you are looking forward to, this monitor does not have that. Right, so you can see here, these are the ports that are available. Okay, and there we go. This is what I'm talking about. The accessories they provide. You can see here, there's only the display port keeper as well as the menu. That means that this monitor does not come with a remote. So that is something for you to take note of, right? So the AMH A399U, the most budget option, it comes with a tempered glass and no remote controller, is the most basic, and no picture-in-picture, picture-by-picture, right? So next up, the Wasabi Mango UHD 420. Now this is something that is really interesting, because this particular monitor is not a VA panel. It uses a AHIPS panel, so technically it will have superior image quality and better color reproduction as compared to the VA panels. That means this monitor here should, in theory, be the best in terms of quality of image as compared to all the other monitors, right? Because it uses an AHIPS panel. It is a 42-inch monitor, so do take note of that. And it costs as much as the Philips monitor, right? So now this is time to decide, would you want a technically supposedly superior panel, or you want the local warranty support? 42 inch is pretty fine as well for 4K. The PPI is still pretty dense and everything will look sharp. So yeah, this is a very interesting product. The Wasabi Mango, yes, that's the name of the company. The UHD 420. This also has a USB hub on it, similar to the Philips. So it is considered to be the more premium product of all the other Korean monitors. One thing to take note of is that this has the SE version, or SE variant, that I was talking about earlier. So they have two variants here. I'm not sure it's two or more than that, but from my local reseller, my local platform that I saw, they have an SE version as well. The SE version does not support HDMI 2.0, which means that all the ports on it is HDMI 1.4 as well as the DisplayPort 1.2. So that's something that you want to take note of, right, before you purchase it. So again, we'll take a look at the advertisement. Now this advertisement is really cool, very cute rather, is that they have two particular image, and look at that, breaking news, introducing the 42-inch blah blah blah, right? So it's quite stupid, but yeah, as you can see here, now the stand is very different as well as at the corners. So do take note about your table as well if when you're making such purchases, whether or not you fit your setup, right? So that's A and that's B. You can see here some of the advertisement. Okay. The ports that they provide HDMI, 10-bit colors. All the monitors are 10-bit anyways, or 8+2 rather. And some information. The main thing that I really want to try this out is because it says that it's AHIPS. Now, for those of you who are wondering whether or not it's going to be a huge difference between this and a VA panel, from what I can tell, I'm not a professional photographer or videographer or whatnot, but from what I can tell is that the IPS panels, I used the Korean IPS panel before this, right? The 1440p IPS monitor, and then I came into this 4K VA panel. It's pretty fine, right? There is not much difference, at least in my opinion. Alright, so this is something you want to take note of. Okay, right. My Steam is on. Okay, so you can see here it provides you a controller, a HDMI cable, as well as DisplayPort cable, and the manual. So that's the UHD 420 anyways. Alright, so here's a table to compare different monitors. So you can see here the cheapest is the AMH A399U, is at 0.7 Philips monitor, so that's 30% cheaper. The crossover is slightly more expensive. In my opinion, what you might want to buy or consider if you're going for the Korean monitors would be the crossover 404K. It is the most balanced one, and at least, right? So, but for those of you who have slightly more money and want to try out something better, perhaps the Wasabi Mango UHD 420 will be the monitor for you. Alright, so you can see all this on the article. The link again will be in the description bar. Now we'll talk about others, right? What I mean by others here, there are other monitors that are available at the moment. You can search crossover 494K, that's a 49-inch 4K monitor. It also has a AHIPS monitor, AHIPS panel, but all these monitors actually are fine, but they cost a lot more as well. But I think that they are simply too large in that sense for a setup, in a PC setup at least. But of course, a lot of you have your TVs and whatnot as your monitor as well, so it's up to you, right? It's really up to you. I'm just telling you that there are other options out there, but I don't really recommend them. Also, if you want to get anything, do get up to 49-inch only. Anything higher, the PPI would be slightly too low, and it becomes blurry. At least in my opinion, it becomes blurry and not too worth it, right? So up to 49-inch for those of you who are going to look for other monitors. Now, if you're looking to use your 4K TV as your primary display, do check if the TV supports 4x4x4 chroma subsampling at 4K 60Hz. Now, this is very, very important because a lot of these TVs, they advertise it to run this, and it is true, but it only runs this at 4K 30Hz, and 30Hz is not something that you want to use as your daily driver. It'll drive you nuts, alright? So this is something that you must take note of. To check how if the TV or your monitor is currently running at 4x4x4, you simply view an image. I can show you that. I linked to an article here. You can see here, yeah, it's this image. As you can see, this is the LG TV, right? 4K at 30Hz. It support 4x4x4 chroma subsampling. You can see here that it is very clear, but when you want to run at 60Hz, you look at it, it goes it is unable to do it, right? So do take note about that anyways. Okay, so that's about it already. I've come to the end of it. There are additional links and information. You can, all the links to the different Amazon pages are at the articles as well. Some reviews, some are in Korean language, but you can see some of the RGB coverage and whatnot, all the good stuff. But for the most of it, you will just want to read this, the technical stuff, the BDM4065UC. The main reason why is because all the other panels besides the Wasabi Mango uses the same panel, so for all the technical specifications it should be the same, right? So that is a link to the TFT Central. I believe they are one of the better review monitor review sites anyway. Alright, so here are some links to forums discussions as well on overclock.net as well as Hard Forum. Lots of information. So yeah, that's about it. Hopefully this is informative for you, information for you to make your purchase and whatnot. Yeah, so that's about it. If you have any questions or anything you want to ask me, do leave them in the comments. You can private message me as well. Do read the full written article if you didn't catch anything I say. Otherwise, I guess I'll see you guys again soon. Do like this video if you find it very useful and helpful, and subscribe to my channel for more of such videos. I'll see you guys again in a while.